Hello and welcome to another video. And today we're playing Ocarina of Time, as you can see. Now, this is a very special game, well, not only for me, I suppose for a lot of people. It is not by accident that this game is in so many top 5 or top 10 or best game ever created lists. And as we see Link galloping there with Epona and listen to the song, makes total sense, right? Well, not analyzing the game per se, though maybe I will someday, because I love this game. And if you see the history of videos here in the channel, I have quite a long history with this game and with speedrunning it and doing randomizers. I'll try not doing anything too fancy here, because I mostly want to focus on talking. I'm using the Faster Quest ROM here, which will remove the cutscenes and everything, because the cutscenes do take quite a long time. And I already created this file here, so we'll get started. So the thing today is pretty strange if you look at the title. It's like, except being average. Well, what do you mean by being average? Oh, the backwalking is kind of a habit that is hard to drop, but we'll see. So I guess perhaps I can share a bit of backstory to explain what I mean by this. So when I was younger, and I suppose this happens with lots of kids. Well, I wouldn't say lots of kids, but it does happen to quite a few kids, I would imagine. Is that when you are at school, and in preschool and whatnot, and high school, that kind of stuff, comparatively to your peers, you can do very well, because it's a smaller pool, let's call it that, of people that you are quote-unquote competing against. It's not really a competition, right? What I mean is that let's not do the I'm not using my N64 controller here. I'm using this is a Switch Pro controller on an emulator, so my precision is not the same as usual. But when you were at school, you can really like be better than most people in your classroom if you have an appropriate amount of effort. Oh, there's also not the big cutscenes, with the I apologize if you like those, but I removed them. Watched them so many times by this point. But yeah, so it is quite easy to do very well when you are at school, and this was very much true for me when I was in preschool and high school. I had the easiest time like getting good grades, and even in sports, really. Need $40. Hello? There we go. So I used to do very well both in terms of like grades and also sports, and that was like really worked out well for me, right? It was really easy when I was at school. And when you were a kid, it really depends on your family or whatever, but people have a tendency to praise you a lot when you were a kid. But at least that happened to me. I don't know if that happens to everyone. I do praise my kids a lot as well, so I imagine it is pretty common. In any case, it was pretty easygoing. But then, as you start moving further and further in your school career, let's call it that. There we go, I have Deku sticks now. Do I have to listen to the great Deku Tree talking to me? Oh no, it's already open, nice. Yeah, I wasn't about to listen to that. But as you start moving further and further in your academic life, I want some Deku meds here. There we go. You start dealing with people that are obviously more prepared. You start exposing yourself to a larger amount of people, and then the competency that you showed at first is not as pronounced, perhaps. And that happened to me. Oh, it's not really. All right. This sucks. I thought my X and A button would be mapped, but they're not. I'm gonna have to use the right analog stick to use C buttons. This is not ideal. We'll survive. We'll survive. And here in Brazil, the process to enter university, I suppose, is not too dissimilar to other countries. I am marginally familiar with how it goes in the US with the SATs and everything. Here we have like a standardized test as well to determine which universities you can enter. Okay, I'm just checking what is the shield button. And it is correct. So when I was getting to university, it was really the first hardship I found. I was 16 at the time. I skipped two years, as they call here in Brazil. Like they just like let me move ahead, right? So when I arrived at the age to do my SATs, I was 2 years younger than most people. So most people did that as they were 18. I was 16 at the time. So I was really riding this high of like, hey, I'm super smart. Life is gonna be easy for me. Like you get even, I would say, cocky sometimes with the amount of praise you get, or really just the general level of requirement that you get in school, and it is very doable, even with not that much effort on your part. This obviously depends, right? So I'm relaying my personal experience. What is in here? It's the compass, right? I don't need the compass. Okay. So what do I want here? Hang on, let me... Okay. Come on. There you go. So I understand that it's not for everyone that school is easy. I'm not saying that for a second, don't get me wrong. But I think it would be pretty easy to agree that high school or middle school or basic school is generally easier than when you are in college, right? That would be something pretty expected, I would imagine. I'm gonna do the full thing. I'm not gonna do the B1 skip because it's been a while since I did that, so I'm worried I'll fail. Okay. So 23 is number 1. So when I tried to enter a particular university here in Brazil, it's called ITA. I wouldn't say it's the equivalent of the MIT in the US. It's not like that at all, but it is pretty prestigious, I would say, like comparatively. It's widely recognized as one of the better universities in the country. And then, as you can imagine, the competition to get in there is really high. And so I did some prep courses and I studied for it. But up until that point in my life, everything had come like pretty easily, So I didn't have to study that much to get good grades and whatnot. And so I really, really, really underestimated how hard it would be to get in there. Because now I wasn't competing against like 10 other people in my class or 20 other people in my class. It wasn't like that at all. I was competing with pretty much the whole country for a spot in that university. And as you can imagine, it didn't work out for me. So I didn't manage to pass. And that was I'm not saying it was traumatic or anything, it wasn't. But it was for sure like a reality check for me, It was like, hey, you think you're so good? Oh, here you go, man. There are people that are way, way better than you. But up until that point, I was kind of thinking, well, sure, but, maybe I didn't study as much as I should. So if I had studied, I would have passed. And so I was trying to rationalize in my mind that there was a reason for my failure. And don't get me wrong, if I had studied more, it's very possible that I could have passed. And this is true for most things in life. If you just put in appropriate amount of effort, you will be able to achieve what you want. But this is not always true, you know. Once you get older, you really do learn that there are some things that no matter how much you apply yourself to, it's not gonna happen, man. Like I have 1 meter and 80 centimeters. I don't know how many inches is that. I have 180 centimeters tall, all right? As you can imagine. So 2, 3, 1. Okay. And so, hey, how about we one cycle going on? Let's see if I can do it. So I'm gonna store the jump slash here. There we go. And now I can RB. There we go. And then I'll just use my slingshot. Hopefully it'll work out. Will it work? Yeah, I've done this so many times, but not in this controller, so I'm worried I'll miss it. We'll see. Right, 1, 2, there we go. So where was I at? Oh yeah, so I failed the selection process in there. I was trying to rationalize, but as you get older, you do understand that there are some things that are not gonna happen, man. Doesn't matter how much you apply yourself. There are several people in the world that have more innate advantages than you do. In terms of they were born in a richer family, I suppose, or they're just baseline like smarter than you, or they. And conversely, there's also the opposite, right? There's a bunch of people that have way less advantages than you do in life, and it really depends on what you focus on. Like if you focus on the good part, you can be a very positive person. If you think, hey, I'm better off, not better in terms of like a better person, that's not what I mean. I'm luckier in terms of my circumstances than most people in the world. And if you, like, by virtue of watching this video, this is probably true. Seeing as you have access to like a computer and everything, you know. Oh man. Harofield. How good is that, huh? How good is this song? But if you are negative about it and you really focus only on the bad parts, and of course, like you can focus, well, there's this many millionaires that have this much amount of money and they have these cars and they have access to this and that and the other that I don't have. And yeah, for sure, if you only focus on the bad part, you can feel sorry for yourself a whole lot. That is also true. But you start accepting that the older you get. That is for sure a fact. The reason I'm backwalking here is because if you just straight up walk to the castle, you can't make it before nighttime. If you roll, you can probably make it, but backwalking is faster. Well, if you don't mess up like I did right there. Do I need money? Oh, I guess we can get some money, right? There's 40 buckaroos here if you wanna get them. But yeah, like you come to terms, you come to accept that. And after I went into university, I did manage to enter a pretty good university in Brazil, all things considered. So it was not all bad for me, you know. It kind of worked out in the end. But it was sad that I didn't manage to pass in the specific course that I wanted. Hey, Melon. Give me the egg. Okay, so now I don't need to go back to Harrow Town. I can just... Can I take the shortcut? Let's see. Now, Zelda Ocarina of Time is a pretty chill game, but the fact that I know how to play the game is perhaps not that good, because I kind of want to try some stuff, you know? Not about to just not do the things I know, but I'll try and do the casual more casual strats here. But yeah, generally that's it, right? So it really is the situation is kind of akin to being a big fish in a small pond, or being a small fish in a big pond. And you can avoid putting yourself into situations where you are the small fish, but at some point in life it's gonna be inevitable, you know, it's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to really accept it. So after I was rejected from the university I wanted to enter, and I got into another one which was still pretty good, but not the one that I wanted, to be clear. I started to come to terms with the fact that maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, you know? Maybe there's people that are smarter than me. And nowadays it's obvious and pretty cocky really that I would think that, you know? But man, when you were a kid and you have like grown accustomed to quote unquote winning or doing well really with not that much effort in life, you can really can lose that kind of perspective. So as I move forward in university, I figured out that, hey, like my colleagues, there are several that are much better than me in some subjects. I may be better than them in some others, and so I'll try and focus on the stuff that I'm better at, which is how I eventually chose my career, by focusing on the parts of IT that I was better at, of computer science at that point, right? And pretty much accepting that it wasn't really possible to be the best at everything, right? Which is pretty obvious, but you know, you're watching the video, so I suppose this might be interesting for you on some sense, as it would have been for me if I was younger. Let's see. Let me try not getting caught here. Okay. Wait for this guy to turn. There we go. I think I'm good here, yeah. Nice. Okay. Man, this guy walks so slowly, man. Come on. Let's go. Have a new block of subjects I want to start, and so I don't want to, because my recap is pretty much done now, so I'm gonna do some more general argumentation now once I'm past these guys. Come on. There we go. Go. There we go. Alright. Onward to Zelda. So, alright. I thought that was gonna be the cutscene, but I guess not. Oops. Okay, do I want the bottle? I mean, sure. I'm not gonna beat the game or anything, you know, this game's pretty long. But I'll get the bottle with the chickens, I suppose, just so we have some more chill content going on while we progress. Okay, I need to show the letter to the guard. Okay, so as we get older, you start realizing, okay, I can't be possibly the best in everything, and so you start accepting this it's okay to be average stuff. That is the title of the video. But you know one thing that really helped me get to terms with that? It was racing, man. Racing was the one thing that when I started doing it, I came to the realization that, man, most people are average. I am average. And you know, that's okay, man. That's okay, because in racing, there can only be one winner, you know? When you, whatever race you enter, like if you watch F1 or whatever, and you see there, these days, Verstappen's winning everything, right? And you're thinking, man, I sure would like to be Verstappen, man. It should be it's probably very fun to be this guy. And you're right. But you know what? Those other 19 drivers that are on the grid, they're pretty good, man. They're not bad at all. But they, for the most part, can't win, and most of them won't even win a race, let alone win the whole championship, you know? And so that gives you some perspective. And as you can see here in the channel, I play other games, and the racing simulator I like playing is iRacing, and iRacing is very realistic in that sense that you only play against like real people. And by playing against real people, you kind of get used to, alright, I'm gonna get into this race here. I'm starting, you do the qualifying, and then you're starting from, I don't know, 15th or whatever. And then you try your best in that particular race, and then you finish the race at 10th. And at first, when you enter the game, you think, man, this sucks. I have played so many games before. I've played like my Gran Turismos, I've played my Need for Speeds, I've played my Forzas. And what do those games teach you, you know? When you come and think of it, a single player racing game, you're expected to win pretty much everything, right? So you enter a race, and there's either a requirement that you win the race so that you can proceed, or if not, at least you have to have some amount of achievement, right? You need to get the most points in the championship or whatever, and then you can beat the game. And when you come to real life, man, it's not like that at all. You can't enter the race and be expected to win. Rarely that will be the case. Sometimes I get placed with people that are worse than me, and that's kind of random. Depends really on who entered the race at a particular point. And if that, I guess I kind of want Sunsong here, just in case the castle closes, and then I'll have a possibility of playing the song. I need the ocarina here. There we go. And so, playing racing games, like racing in real life, I raced go-karts when I was 20 or so, something like that. But especially once I entered iRacing, I really understood that it's okay to be average, man. Like, you enter a race, and it's very rare that you win. And this has a perfect parallel with life. You enter a new job, and it's unlikely that you'll be the best employee. You strive for that. You have to strive for that. You have to do your best. And sometimes you'll be the best. That works out. That's nice. But maybe you have a colleague that has more time than you, man. Like, maybe you're married and you have kids to take care of, and he's not. Like, he's single and has all the time in the world. Or he studied somewhere better than you did, or he just is more adept, you know, at learning some stuff. And what you're gonna do? You're gonna leave your job and then try to find somewhere where you're the best. And what if the next job that you find, you're not the best? Are you gonna leave again? You know? And that goes for all other walks of stuff that you do. I see this in online games a lot, man. I used to play a lot of first Counter-Strike, but I wasn't pretty that good at Counter-Strike, to be honest with you. I played a lot of WoW, but the one I played the most for sure was Dota. So I played Dota and Dota 2 for the longest time. I have a lot of hours in those games, more than I should, probably. And there we go. And when you go into online games, man, everybody's try-harding to the max, man. They want to win, you know. And if you make some mistake, people are just berating you on the voice comms. And when you come to think, man, it's, you know, it's just a game at the end of the day. It is really just a game. If you don't win, it's okay. Nobody's gonna happen. Nobody's gonna... there's a Highland shield here, I think, right? I'm not mistaken. And yeah, if you start and understand this perspective that most people are average at most things, and you really are most people when it comes to it, then you start enjoying much more everything that you do. Like, for example, I'm playing Zelda here right now, yeah? And I used to play Zelda randomizers a lot. I used to take part in competitions in this freaking game here. And I trained a whole lot. It may not seem like it now because I'm playing with a... Well, first of all, I'm talking, but secondly, I'm playing with a suboptimal controller here. And I'm making a lot of excuses, as you can see. But I'm not doing the best job here, perhaps. But I do know how to play the game quite well. And there's other games as well. But, once I realized that to actually be the best at this game and to be able to compete at the highest level, the amount of time I had to put into training and basically no life in the game, it was like, man, there's no way I'm gonna do this. I have way better stuff to do with my life than just like stop and do this. So hang on, this guy has dropped me off this mountain quite a few times, so I'm absolutely ready for him. And this goes with basically everything. I used to play, for example, Mega Man. And I was an okay-ish Mega Man speedrunner. But once I realized, man, the amount of work I'm gonna have to put into being the best in Mega Man is just too much. And then I got to a place where I was satisfied at. I got like top 50 or top 30 worldwide, I don't know, 2010 or whatever. And it was okay, and then I just stopped. And with this game, the same thing. With iRacing, which is the sim that I play, I trained and I got better. And once I got to a point where I was satisfied, I stopped. And now I do lots of races and I train, but I don't train because I want to beat Max Verstappen or the actual professional racing drivers that play this game, because I know it's not gonna happen, man. There's no way that's gonna happen. These guys are playing the thing professionally, day in, day out. What chance do I have, And then you can say, well, your job or whatever is just an excuse. You're trying to... Okay, there we go. This is a little trick here. If you don't want to reset the game, you can just light the torches and then you light the flower bombs here, and then you were right here in the Lost Woods, and you can grab the Saria song and proceed the story. It's Mido here. Oh, no, it's only as an adult. So, I think this acceptance of being average is very good for gaming, first, because you're gonna enjoy a whole lot more the games that you play. But secondly, even in like general life, it's gonna be good for you if you come to terms with that. I'm not saying that you should half-ass everything and it's like, well, since I'm not gonna be the best, I'm just not gonna put an effort. That's not what I'm saying at all, You should put the best effort that you can into everything that you do. However, knowing that and accepting the fact that the world is a very big place, man. The world is a gigantic place. The likelihood that there is somewhere someone is better than you is, I would say, a certainty, really. So that is the general gist of this video. Okay, so if you should come to terms with the fact that it's okay to be average, knowing that you should put the best effort that you can in everything that you do, however, also accepting the fact that maybe you're not going to be the best, or probably you're not going to be the best, then where should you derive your worth, This is something that I myself did, and I think everyone, mostly men I'd say, but probably some girls as well do, is that when you are young, you don't have much going in your life, You probably don't have a well-paying job. Maybe you don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a wife yet. You probably don't have kids yet. And so you don't have a house or a car, whatever. You know what I mean, right? And so it can be somewhat hard to derive worth from your everyday life. You may think, man, I don't have all the things that I see that older people than me, they already have, so what am I supposed to do? And so people usually fall back to video games or to other things, but video games is a good one that I've seen many people, myself included, use for that, which is like, hey, if I get really, really good at this game, then I'll be great, man. People will respect me, and I'll become an esports player, or I'll become a Twitch streamer, or I'll become something else, and then people will just like really look up to me. And that can happen and does happen to some people, as you well know, right? So there is people that are very young, younger than me, younger than you probably, and they do make careers out of esports, and that works out for them. But I guess that the career in esports or in streaming is kind of like a soccer player, you know? If you, for every like Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or every Premier League player, like a famous soccer player that you see that makes a lot of money, in case of Brazil, I could cite Neymar, for example, right? Which everybody knows. You can't really focus on those guys because those are exceptional people, and you can be exceptional, but it's not just a matter of applying yourself. It's not like, well, I'm gonna train a lot and then I'm gonna be like Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, I'd like that to be true, but that's not true for most people. No matter how much you train, you're not gonna be Cristiano Ronaldo, man. It's probably late for you. It's probably late for me. There is one such thing as age. In my case, I love racing, and I wanted to be a racing driver at some point in life. You know, I liked watching F1. I was like, man, it would be really cool if I could like be an F1 driver or whatever. And you know, that's true, man, but I'm not rich enough for that. And it is unfortunate because I needed a lot of money and a lot of time to... Can I... Huh. Oh, never mind. Let's do the thing normally. Oh, wait. I need the wallflower here. I kind of halfway want to do a bomb jump here, but I'll just refrain. And so even if today I had the funds, I'm too old. It's too hard to learn some things when you get older. And I'm sure you have realized that if you tried learning, for example, a language. I saw that firsthand when trying to learn languages. I started studying English when I was very young. I was like 6 years old, I think. And so it was pretty seamless to learn to speak and to write English, which helped me professionally a lot, even today. And when I entered university, I could take whatever classes I wanted, and so I took a couple things. Let me think. Hang on, I need this. Okay. Actually, okay. I needed to do the crouch stab, but I don't have the wooden shield right now. You know, let's just play the game casually, man. It's fine. It's fine. I just have to turtle here. And then once he does the thing, I do this. There we go. Easy going. Where was I at? What was I saying? I kind of lost my train of thought here. I'll remember after the Lizalf is here. Come on. There we go. I'm trying to think what I was saying before. I don't quite remember. Okay. Let me pause here real fast. All right, I remember now. I was talking about languages. So I was mentioning that I took English classes. I was younger, and then I tried learning, I think, French and Chinese and Japanese. Yes, I did 2 semesters of Japanese when I was at university. And if you ask me like a single sentence in Japanese these days, I'll be hard pressed to tell you, because it is way harder to learn stuff as you get older. It is quite strange. Do I need to kill these guys? I think I just need to wipe the torches, right? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Nice. And this is valid for like most things, really. This is really interesting when you realize that, like, if you try learning an instrument, if you try learning the piano, for example, if you do that as a kid and you stop playing for however much time you stop playing, and then you come back to it, you're gonna have a way easier time than if you try learning the piano when you're an adult. I'm not saying it's impossible, of course not. Everybody can do it, but it takes so much more time and for you to apply yourself. You know, it is insane how flexible a young mind is in learning stuff. And so on the being average situation, which is the theme of the video, it's the compass in there, right? I don't need it, we can skip it. If you didn't start learning some things as you were a kid, it's gonna be drastically harder for you to learn them as an adult. It is quite interesting, you know? For example, video games in general, I have an easier time learning because I played a lot of video games as I was a kid with my wife, for example. When I go and play games with her, it is very interesting that it doesn't come naturally to her. The execution of most games, you know? It's a minor thing, just play a video game. And even that can be majorly affected by if you started doing it at a young age or not. So, you know, in terms of deriving your self-worth, which was something I was mentioning before, be very careful to not put too much weight on games and other things that aren't really that important. Okay, that's basically what I'm saying. It's of course fun and all good if you wanna be good at video games, but in the end it's just a game, man. And even if you are if you're the best player, then sure. Did that work? Wow, okay, didn't expect that. If you're the absolute best player in the world of something, like if you're the ninja, like is in Fortnite, then sure, then you'll be able to make a bunch of money with that. But if you're not already the best player in something, then maybe you should consider, you know, a more traditional career. That's what I'll say. I think that would be it. And I'm trying to think here if there's anything more that I want to say about the subject, but I think I'm pretty much done, man. This was a shorter subject, for sure. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I forgot something, so if that's the case, feel free to let me know in the comments. As for now, I think I'm done for this subject. I'll be back sometime soon with more interesting or not so interesting topics. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.